Hi folks, welcome to LMP3 this week at Circuit of the Americas or Cota. This crazy little place is going to need some SR from you because this is off-track central. And watch out for them yellow sausage curbs. They are literally like Mount Everest. Please don't hit them. Anyway, let's crack on with the fast lap. Right then, fast lap done and dusted, and let me show you the input tab for you. Track Toasty, 100 Fahrenheit. Fixed setup is what we're following for the fixed series. You can use this track layout or this track guide in the open session if you want to. I will point out where it's best to overtake GT4s as well, because those crafty little rascals can be equally painful and equally annoying, but we can be annoying for them as well, so it works both ways. Moderate usage of 44% is what I always use for these guides as well, just somewhere in the middle-ish, and 44 is my car number. Not because of Lewis Hamilton, but because of my birthday. Now the lap I'm actually going to show you is lap 19. So we did nip into the 2.6s, but I was very low fuel there, so that's why they're a bit nicer. But generally I'm in the 3s, and I went out and did a 3.4, a 3.8, and then a 3.1. So it's actually lap 19 I'm actually going to show you of a 2-minute 3.103. This track is awkward in this car. There are some corners where you think it will be really, really beneficial, like there's a quadruple right-hander towards the end of the lap. You think this car will be absolutely flat out through there. It is not in the slightest. Big lifts through there and coasting it. And there's also some really dim-witted slow corners where the traction control in the fixed setup tries to help you by getting around there, which just makes things 10 times worse. Braking in this car, particularly in the heavy braking zones up to turn 1, it is easy to face backwards on the fixed setup. So be careful about your brake bias and downshifting a bit too early to avoid that rear axle locking up. Take your time with it. This is probably going to be quite a week. Cota is not normally that popular, so it can be quite quiet. So it can be a good place to farm IR, but it also can be a good place to lose it as well. So bear that in mind when you're choosing your races this week. Otherwise, what else do I show you? Oh, downstairs in the description is my Discord. There's a link in there for it. OLAP, BLAP, telemetry file, and replay file will all be in there for you, just so you can see exactly how I've done this lap. And also I'm using Garage 61, which is an online telemetry tool. Very, very useful. Very, very awesome, where you can compare lap times free online as well, so that's bonus. Not affiliated with them, but I just think it's a very, very useful addition. The links are downstairs in that as well. Otherwise, I think that's enough of me waffling, so yeah, let's crack on with it.
Right then, Cota, and forgive the voice, I've got a little bit of cold at the minute, but we soldier on. Anyway, uphill brake is over for turn 1, so just be careful about locking the front tyres, but there's a white line just there. You just can't about see it, but just before it, brake in a very straight line, nice and heavy. As you go over the crest, ease off and start turning in for the corner. Do not turn in too far early, and do not keep your braking pressure over the crest, because you will lock it up. Nice and easy on acceleration here, you still get a snap of oversteer, and be careful about running wide. There is annoying off track as well. This turn 2 is absolutely flat out, so don't worry about it. Just position your car on the far right hand side by the time you get to this bridge bridge here. Now, these S's are very, very fun. You can take this first one flat out, but make sure you apex after the yellow sausage curb. When you come off the curb into this one, jab of brakes just ever so tightly. Try not to hit the yellow sausage curbs. And again, down a cog, brake again for this one. This little corner here, try and apex, double apex it. So double apex, down into the third. Let the car drift out wide. Let the speed bleed off naturally. And then come back for the second apex here. Try and stay far right-hand side because it'll be easier coming over this corner. And just as this curb starts is when we want to touch it and then start lifting and braking into this corner very gently through here. The rear end is very, very twitchy. Bring the car over to the left-hand side and you see the service road just there. Just as we pass it on the left, slight drag of brakes again. Down to second gear just to help with some engine braking. Do not cut this because there is an off track and you can short shift into third coming out of here just to get a better drive. I do stay in second, but I think third coming before that apex is better to get a good drive. Getting a good exit will help with that opportunity of overtaking down the hairpin. Watch out for that kink. Do not cross it because you will get an off track, and we're braking at this line right here, which is the 100-meter marker. So braking a nice heavy straight line again, and then basically until you see the end of the curbing just there, that's when you want to start turning in. Triple screen monitors is one of the rare corners that they do come useful to spot an apex, but again, get a smooth application of power because this is going to be a massive, massive long straight down here. One of the longest in iRacing, I believe, and the slipstream isn't too powerful in this car, but it is if you get right up the jacksie of someone. So imagine some dive bombs into this corner here. Be careful with this corner. First gear this one. So brake just before that white line that signifies the 100 mark and brake in a nice heavy straight line. Start bleeding off when you get into second, and then first really get off all the braking through here. Little clip of the curb. Do not run wide. There is a silly little off track around there, and obviously do not lock a front axle because you will go sailing on into Narnia. Over the left hand side now, and as the grass bit ends there where the AstroTurf is, we want to brake nice and easy. Again, first gear, take it nice and steady around here. We want to compromise our exit because we want to get the car accelerating in a straight line. No point continuing the corner out there on the left hand side, just get straight. This little curb here is not flat out, so make sure you have a lift off through there. And then we're preparing for the very tricky braking zone. And you want to brake nice and early and nice and gently because we're still rotating the car around this overall curve. Just so we get out to the outside curve right here, start cranking on the steering again. Off the brakes, we want to use all of the tyre grip available to get around the corner, and then nice smooth application through here. Now these triple, quadruple left hand or right handers or whatever you want to call them, these are interesting because they're not actually flat out, and if you do, you will understeer off to Narnia, so be cautious about that. So I go up to fourth gear and I have a big lift for this second one. I want to stay mid to right hand side of track here. Basically the idea is to try and keep on full power as much as possible, and that's where I can stay on it now, and I've got this corners made up. If you don't, you'll end up over on the left hand side there, which won't be good for the two last corners. Anyway, talk about the penultimate corner. This is our breaking point for here. It's kind of no man's land, but you can cut this corner quite a little bit. You can get your tyre on the red sort of, the yellow concrete sausage curb there. It's quite flat as well. Be careful not to run wide. We're not an IndyCar, so we will get an off track, and brake at this last little service road here for the very last corner. Again, braking a nice straight line. Get all your braking done in the straight line and ease it in nicely. You can cut this one quite a lot as well, similar to the corner before, but again, do not run wide on exit because there is an off track, and the line appears very quickly. The line is actually right there, so that's us across the line in a 2:03.103. So yeah, not a bad lap. I think the open session will be a little bit quicker. I was mistaken last week. I thought the open setup at Imola would be much quicker, but the fixed setup was actually quite competitive even in the open session. Lap cars and GT4s here will be interesting, particularly through the S's. If you get stuck behind a GT4 through there, they are going to be very, very tyre limited grip, and they're going to understeer wide, so you're going to have to hold behind them and try and go around the outside of that double right hander of turn 6, I believe it was. If you can see them there on the track map, you can see it, yeah, turn 6. And yeah, if through the S's, there's no chance. So try and plan your overtakes, lift off before, and if you can, coming out of turn 1 and things like that, and try and time your overtakes better. Big long straights here. It's a big old circuit, so I don't think we'll be overtaking them too quickly, but who knows what lap times they'll be doing. Otherwise, if this did help you out, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I love your YouTube stuff. And remember, you've got to like and subscribe because I'm ill. So that's my excuse here. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.